Welcome back to the Daily Taoist podcast with Will S. I apologize for the hiatus. There was some life issues that needed to be dealt with. I'm back now and will be recording regular episodes. Today I will be talking about verse 20 of the 81 verses. The Tao Te Ching was written around 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless and its message is as relevant and important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious and selfless way, and the Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves and our lives into alignment with the Tao, also known as the Way. Verse 20. Stop thinking and your problems will end. What difference between yes and no? What difference between success and failure? Must you value what others value and fear what others fear? How ridiculous. In spring, some go to the park and climb the terrace, but I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am. I alone don't care. I alone am expressionless, like a newborn baby before it has learned to smile. Other people have more than they need. I alone possess nothing. Mine is indeed the mind of an ignoramus in its unadulterated simplicity. I am but a guest in this world. While others rush to get things done, I accept what is offered. I alone seem foolish, earning little, spending less. Others strive for fame. I avoid the limelight. Other people have purpose. I alone don't know. Indeed, I seem like an idiot. No mind, no worries. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. All men settle down into their grooves. I alone am stubborn and remain outside. But wherein I am most different from others is knowing to take sustenance from the Great Mother. For some people, this is not only the longest verse of the Tao Te Ching, but perhaps also the most challenging. Lao-Tzu paints a portrait of life as a self-realized being, and much of what he says runs counter to the ethos of all culture. Instead of being filled with thoughts, the mind of the master is empty. Because of this, he has no worries. He is but a visitor in this world. Instead of rushing and trying to direct and control the events of his life, always with an eye to achieving and acquiring, he instead blows like the breeze, aimless, free, and unencumbered. Instead of constantly striving, he accepts whatever comes his way. Instead of deriving his sustenance from the things of this world, he takes his nourishment from the Great Mother. This is the way of the Tao. Many people would likely be horrified at such a way of life, and indeed, as Lao-Tzu states, to most he would seem like an idiot. But one of the great secrets of life is that liberation and lasting peace can never come from anything external. They only come from within. Our continued attempts to control life and reshape it into what we think it should be is what keeps us locked into the illusion, running around like a hamster in a wheel. The master realizes that we need to do very little because ultimately we're being done by life itself. Surrendering to this realization, we can allow ourselves to live in accord with the Tao and thus know true freedom. I was once struck by the title of a Buddhist book that succinctly sums up what I believe is the message of this verse. It was called Being No One, Going Nowhere. Perhaps being alone is sufficient. Compliments to the essay go to Rory from the Daily Tao blogspot.com. Yeah, as always, um, remember that you aren't doing anything, you are being done. Just try your best to surf the waves of life and recognize the cycles of storm and calm, and you'll be okay. Um, I love each and every one of you out there. Uh, have yourself a great and prosperous day. Namaste.